Hello again, and thank you for being here. And I'd like to give a heads out to one of my teachers, Margaret Greenberg. She's the author of the book called Profit from the Positive, and I'm sharing this slide from the very first time that I got exposed to the course that she had made about positive psychology. And I shared this slide with her, by the way, and she loved it because it's just very nice the way that it shows the difference between what you focus on. So, let me ask you a question, which is a question she asked me, by the way, or us. If you wanted to build the best bridge in the world, the most outstanding, the most powerful, the strongest, the most just, it's going to stand the test of time, and you've got these two bridges in front of you, which bridge are you going to study? Are you going to study the bridge on the right or left, the broken bridge, or are you going to study the Golden Gate Bridge, the bridge that's been standing the test of time? Now think about it. Like I said, when I ask this question in an auditorium or in a workshop or in a keynote, it's not such a straightforward answer. Like some people say, of course I'm going to study that bridge. Or somebody else says, of course I'm going to study that bridge. Some people choose to study both bridges, which is also a valid option. It's like, I'll study this one, I'll study this one, I'll see what went wrong, I'll see what went right, and I'll try to not make the same mistakes. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is just to show you that the very first rule is to really make a conscious effort to focus on the positive, right? To find and develop points of strength. Because when we dive into the mind, we have so many cognitive biases. And the one that is quite prevalent is this negativity bias. And negativity bias comes into play in everyday life. And we have this innate tendency to look at what's wrong and try to fix it. Look at what's missing and try to fill it out. Look at what's broken, complain, criticize, and that becomes habitual. And unfortunately, that really wreaks havoc on our own positive energy and our own capacity to feel and be positive. So hence this image, keep this image in mind as we progress through the course. And remember that, again, it's your responsibility to really make this conscious choice to focus on the positive. So I wanted to share this with you, and I also wanted to ask you to think about this question. Just so you know, some of the slides are just questions for dialogue. You can ask yourself these questions. You can have a conversation with someone about them. There isn't a right or wrong answer. It's a form of coaching where I'm trying to help you to find those insights by yourself. And some of the slides will have very specific exercises where I would like you to actually take part, and there will be these handouts or PDFs that you can download so you can write down your answers to those exercises. In this case, this is just an engagement. It's a question and dialogue. And I'd like to ask you to think about it. What is the difference between hope, optimism, and positivity? So there are many different ideas, many different answers. There isn't right, there isn't wrong. But I'd like to share with you my own insight for this question. So my view is that these three words, hope, optimism, and positivity, actually represent three different forms of energy. And each one of them they work together, but each one of them is quite specific. So I believe that hope is very spiritual energy. So after we've done everything that we can, after we feel that it's really outside the sphere of influence or sphere of control, and we'll talk about that later, we say, okay, I've done all I can. I really hope things work out. It's a spiritual energy. Yes? Optimism is an emotional energy. So I'm feeling optimistic, I'm feeling happy, I have a positive feeling about it. So it's really a optimism really resides more in the heart. Positivity, positive energy, in my view, is a mental construct. So it's the way that we make meaning of things. It's the way that we look at things. It's our perception. It's our point of view, and they all work together really. And as we progress through the course, you'll see how each one affects the other. And I have also a theory that action trumps everything, and we'll get to that as we progress. So think about your answer. Have the dialogue. That's just my view about hope, optimism, and positivity. And I'd like to share this fantastic quote by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who is the ruler of Dubai and Prime Minister of the UAE. I live in Dubai. I live in the UAE. He published this wonderful book called Reflections on Happiness and Positivity. And he talks about that positivity is a way of thinking and happiness is a lifestyle. In other words, it's not what you own or do that makes you happy, it is how you think about things. It's how you think about things. So, at this point, I'd like to thank you for your attention. And in this lecture, we talked about the differences between hope, optimism, and positivity. We also discussed the concept of the bridge and why it's important to focus on the positive and how we have a little bit of a negativity bias. And in the next section, I'd like to share with you some of the challenges, my own personal challenges, on the path to positivity, and tell you the story of my accidents, and share with you my experience and my story on the road to positivity and how that helped me activate my own positive energy and have more control over my mental, emotional, and physical well-being. So, thank you. See you there.